Today we're driving the 2018 Toyota Rav4 Limited, brought to us by First International Auto Group out of Merrimack, New Hampshire. Before we get out on the road, let's go check out the exterior, check out the back seats, and of course the trunk. This one has 112,000 miles on it, but with a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder, making 176 horsepower, 172 pound-feet of torque. This Toyota is going to last you quite a long time. Side profile of this thing looks pretty good. We have these 18-inch alloy rims. I think they fit it quite handsomely. And then we do have some chrome details along the bottom of the windows there, and of course the door handles. We do have keyless entry here, push button start inside, no remote start from the key fob, only the ability to open the trunk, and of course a panic button. Checking out the trunk space, of course it's automatic. I have my backpack stored back here, no problem. We do have quite an adequate amount of space. Of course, these seats fold down as well. Then you have the option to put in a privacy shade here. I will say the one thing I've noticed is it's a very low loading floor, so if you're lifting heavy things such as mulch, you're going to be able to get it into this RAV4 no problem. Then the rear itself has these nice LED taillights. I really do like how this RAV4 Limited looks. Of course, we have all-wheel drive badging there as well. So sitting behind myself in these back seats, I have tons and tons of room. I've noticed my seat is kind of slanted back right now. I'm kind of leaned back. And they do have the option to go forward and back, which is nice. You do have some maneuverability with these back seats, which is good. And then, of course, we do have a sunroof in here, but it's only for the front. Doesn't really bring much light into the cabin either. But it is nice back here with these nutmeg and black leatherette seats. They are quite comfortable. We do have some storage up here. No ventilation, only a 12-volt down here. Although the back seats do feel kind of bare bone, we do have some options up here. We do have two available drive modes with Eco and Sport. We have heated leatherette seats up in the front. The one thing to note with these 2018 models, though, is that they didn't have Apple CarPlay. That was something available with the 2019 model year for the Toyota RAV4, which is kind of disappointing. You know, if you're shopping for one of these pre-owned and you want a 2018, you're not going to be able to get CarPlay, at least from the factory. You can get some sort of aftermarket setup, which is available, of course. And then we do have USB and an auxiliary port, so you can connect your phone that way, which honestly I've done in the past with my old cars. You know, I've owned 6 or 7 cars in my lifetime, so been around the block. I've had 12-volt Bluetooth configurations. I've had USB hookups. Even my first car had cassette tapes, so needless to say, I've done it all. I do really like the convenience of Apple CarPlay, and if you do too, seek out a 2019 model. For powertrain setup in this Toyota RAV4, we have a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder, making 176 horsepower, 172 pound-feet of torque, also paired to a 6-speed automatic. No CVT in this RAV4, which is very pleasant to hear. I know as time has gone on, we've really kind of shifted in the car market to CVTs, turbo engines, and of course full electrification. And I do appreciate the simplicity of this RAV4, not in terms of just powertrain, but overall simplicity in this interior. You know, we don't have a digital gauge cluster. We have a small little digital gauge cluster in the middle, but you know, analog gauges, which is nice. We don't have the CarPlay, which is honestly a negative for me. But we do still have cruise control, some customization with that little menu in the front here. And then we have physical buttons for things such as our lane keep assist, which is nice. Dual climate up here as well. Of course, front and rear defrosters. Nothing unusual there. The one thing I do have to say in terms of negative about this powertrain is just how it sounds. It doesn't sound all that refined. It's very throaty and kind of droney as well. It's not very pleasant, and honestly, at 50 miles an hour, you can definitely hear the tires in this thing too. There's just not a lot of sound deadening in here. Of course, this being a higher trim, a limited, it's not like you paid bottom dollar for this thing. They were pretty expensive at the time. So I'd expect some nicer experiences as far as powertrain setup and of course sound. We do have a lot of nice materials in here though. We have a leather wrapped steering wheel, these nice leatherette seats, and I do think the nutmeg is a nice combination in here, especially since a lot of the RAV4s you see nowadays are just black, right? They have black interiors, black exterior like this one, and it's just boring. For visibility, we do have a pretty good greenhouse, especially with the added light with the sunroof. There is lots of visibility. These mirrors are big enough. They do have blind spot monitoring as well. So if I put on my right directional, there's no beep, but you can see that a car is there. And of course, there would be a little indicator that shows up on your mirror. My seat adjustments are powered. I have a low and a high for my heat settings as far as my seat goes. And I do have pretty good support for my back. I will say that I notice these things going on long road trips, especially that some modern cars, they just kind of leave the lumbar support out, and you don't notice it in your first hour with the car or the first 2 hours with your brand new car when you first buy it, but you notice it as time goes on. You sit in the seat more and more and you're like, oh wow, this is uncomfortable. And then you take your first road trip with it and you're like, wow, why did I buy this? This is really hurting my back. So you really do want to spend as much time in a car as possible, really feel out the seat and know how it suits you. As far as the steering goes, there is a little bit of a dead point, maybe within the first few degrees either way from center. So there is a little bit of question as to where my tires are pointed. I don't really love the steering in this RAV4, and it's probably the biggest low point for me in terms of just overall driving characteristics, which is fairly surprising because I've driven some Lexuses and those cars all drive nice. And I've also driven some Camrys and whatnot, and those drive pretty nice too, but this RAV4 just isn't it. I'd expect more because my father also owns a 2018 Highlander, and that car drives like a dream. For fuel economy, you get a combined 28 miles per gallon. I'm actually genuinely surprised at that. I always thought RAV4s were above 30 no matter which one you get, but if there's no hybrid integration like this one where it's just a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder and a traditional 6-speed automatic, they did kind of compromise on fuel economy by not having any hybrid integration in this one specifically, and with the 6-speed auto instead of a CVT with auto start stop and things like that, you can generally get over that 30 miles a gallon mark that way, but 28 feels kind of low for a RAV4. There is a hybrid model of even the 2018 RAV4, so if you do want some added fuel economy, go that way. I will say I don't know how they stand the test of time in terms of reliability and maintenance. I don't know if you eventually have to replace that hybrid, 12-volt integrated system, but in this naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, I'd expect to do very little maintenance on this car, and for it to last well above 200,000 miles with no problems whatsoever. All right, I'm going to put on recirc because clearly someone was having some fun. Some fresh burnouts here on the bridge. Although we already talked about these nutmeg seats, let's just talk about this interior design for a minute. We do have this nice infotainment screen, and I think it would really work well with Apple CarPlay, so I'm disappointed that it's not there. You can still hook up via Bluetooth or USB to your phone, so you do have some sort of UI for that here, of course, just by pressing that, and then you'd be able to see what song is on. Really, that's as much as it's going to go. And then, of course, if you go to home, you do have some built-in navigation. Of course, knows exactly where we are in Nashua, New Hampshire, and gives you the weather, which is pretty nice. But one thing I really also appreciate Toyota for in this generation is this little shelf here. My dad's Highlander also has a shelf that runs across the dashboard, and I just think it's a great use of space. You didn't see much of that before Toyota did it first, honestly, and I think that it's a nice place to for someone to put their phone, or if they're traveling with maps instead of, built-in navigation, you could not really fit a large map book there, but you could fit something there. And it's just a nice place for storage. And then as far as vents, we do have rectangular vents over here, and then we have a circle one over here. It's almost like they ran out of rectangles or ran out of circles and kind of had to do a combination of both in this car, which is funny. And then of course your dashboard does really extend into your passenger room here, although it doesn't really inhibit any sort of space for your legs, which is nice. I do feel like I have plenty of leg room in this RAV4. Alrighty, so we are turning onto the worst road in Merrimack, New Hampshire. If you don't know the rules, we approach it at 20 miles an hour here and see how this thing goes over the bumps. This is the trademark Auto Joe suspension test, basically. All right, 20 miles an hour, here we go. All right, so it handled the bumps with ease. I'm genuinely surprised with the shorter wheelbase. You'd expect some sort of jarring, especially with those harsh bumps, but honestly, this RAV4 handled it all well. With that being said, I do respect Toyota in a lot of ways for this RAV4. I never really drove these things when they were new, but I think the key word here is simplicity. That's why Toyota has this long running rep of standing the test of time. There's tons of high mileage ones on the road, especially, even up here in New England where we do see lots of snow and salt, which leads to rust. That really is the driving force of taking cars off the road up here. But with Toyota, that really is the only thing that stops them up here. With the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder and a 6-speed auto, I could definitely say that this thing is likely to last you 200,000 miles plus with no worries, no problems whatsoever. And although you don't have Apple CarPlay, that does add some added complications, right? Who knows if those CarPlay units in the early days just kind of go out after a while. This navigation is of course going to be outdated. You're not really going to use it, especially if you're going somewhere with a lot of newer roads. Like there's always construction going on around here, especially when you get closer to Boston. So I wouldn't really trust that. I would hook up my phone and maybe get one of those mounts for my dashboard, or maybe invest in an aftermarket Apple CarPlay setup, because you know that those ones will at least come with a warranty of some sort. But it's not like there's nothing in this car. We do still have the sunroof, we have heated seats, cruise control, not adaptive, I will say. We have plenty of functionalities with our little digital screen inside our gauge cluster, but still have some analog gauges. We have LED headlights and LED taillights, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, really anything you need that is also in modern cars. With that being said, I really do enjoy this RAV4. It wouldn't be my pick just because it's not really all that inspiring. The steering is not really the greatest, but it does provide a lot of reliability and practicality for someone looking for a daily driver. Thank you all for watching. Please leave your comments and your questions below, and I'll be happy to answer them. All right, bye-bye.